Indian. It's more than a bike. It's an experience and an American icon. The place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. The open road is calling. Answer the call. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between.
Saturday mornings, 10 to 12, right here on Nooga Radio.
If you want to discover the real hope for your life through inspirational music, relevant messages, and testimonies from others who have already found hope, then we encourage you to visit the second annual My Hope Conference, October 7th through 9th at Hickson First Baptist Church. Free admission and childcare is provided for kids up to pre-K, while those in kindergarten through 5th grade will attend the Kids Hope Rally. For more info, visit myhopeconference.com or call Hickson First Baptist Church at 423-877-2467.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
Good morning, beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl, Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department. From the valley low to the mountaintop, giving you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning. It is a partly cloudy day here in the city of Chattanooga, but as always, if you are up, if you're moving about, if you woke up this morning, you are blessed because somebody didn't wake up this morning. So consider it another day here in the land of the living that we get to fight back, that we get to correct our mistakes, that we get to learn, that we get to love. That we get to make a difference and an impact right where we are. And that's what my show is all about, making an impact. Today is Tuesday. And if you did not know, every second and fourth Tuesday, you can find Concerned Citizens for Justice at 1200 Grove Street on the west side, handing out food starting at 3:30. And I would like to see more community members there. Handing out food and serving the community. That's every second and fourth Tuesday, starting at 3:30, 1200 Grove Street. And we have a lot coming up here in the city of Chattanooga. There's a lot going on. We have Wings Over North Georgia Air Show. It's going to be October the 13th and the 14th. That is a Saturday and a Sunday at Russell Regional Airport. Nooga Radio is going to be there. Nooga Radio is going to be there, and we want you to meet us there. Come chop it up with us. Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. I'm streaming live on Facebook. If you want to drop a comment, please do that. And if you want to call in and chop it up with me about the topic today, then please do that as well. And I found it necessary that we need to have a conversation about gang violence today. Because we've had an influx of that probably the past 2 weeks, gang and teen violence that has resulted in the lives of several young people being snuffed out and their candles being blown out. And the thing that I often recognize and realize is that it's far too late. It's much too late. When you approach that mother or that grandmother that raises a young teenage individual, often they're African American, and you try to offer some sort of condolences about their grandchild or that child being stripped out of their life at the hands of violence. But rarely is it a situation that I find in the most church city in America. It's so perplexing. And all I can do is be real. All I can do is be myself. How is it that I live in the most church city in America, and yet we have the most compact issues that would rival even some of the largest cities that I've ever seen? How is it that we have people who say that they believe in Christ, they believe in his redemptive blood and his power? How is it that we have people who say that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of peace, love, joy, and a sound mind? How is it that even if you don't call him God, maybe you call him Yahweh or you call him Allah. And even if it's not just a ordinary Baptist or Pentecostal or Episcopal or Methodist church, that it's a tabernacle. How is it that we have so many places, diverse places of worship all across the city? How is it that we have so many nonprofit organizations that receive millions of dollars from places like the McClellan Foundation? How is it that we have so many people from the church to the nonprofit sector that have the ability and the money, the funding, the time to service the poor, the impoverished right here in the city of Chattanooga? And yet I find that every day that I wake up, it's just another problem that's been persistent for so long that just seems to be exacerbated. How is it that we spend $74.4 million on our police force, which is a reactionary force, which is, if you're from where I'm from, they're there to observe you and to put their boot on your neck. Rarely is it a situation where they're showing up to serve you. So rare that they're watching you, questioning you, harassing you. $74.4 million worth of an investment. And yet we have young people whose lives are filled with such despair. They're so fearful that they have to join gangs. I'm telling you what's real. I don't believe that a young person wakes up and desires to join a gang just because they have nothing better to do. But I recognize if they live often in poor areas where they can't get the best education, how is it that I'm asking questions because you, the listener, I want you to consider, how is it that we have the worst schools here in the state and the best schools here in the country dwelling within the same city? Think about that for just a brief second. How does a predicament like that happen? How is it convenient that every last one of the failing schools are in majority African American and Hispanic communities? There is not one that is outside of an African American or majority Hispanic community. Not one failing school. How do we have these problems? And I don't believe that the best thing you can do is just throw money at a problem. It's bigger than that. Because along with offering some of these children job training, along with offering some of these children skilled labor training, a lot of them need love and consistency. A lot of them need positive male affirmation. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. To me, success has little to do with the amount of money that you make, because I know plenty of trash people who make good money. Have no morality, no loyalty, no love, no compassion, but make plenty of money. To me, money doesn't equate to success, but having a way to make a decent living for yourself, and at the same time, having that spiritual being that's on the inside, that mental, emotional being on the inside, well taken care of, is just as important. Now, one thing I truly believe is that if we have problems here in the city of Chattanooga, and when I can look and see that these problems have been existing for upwards to 3 to 4 generations, what that tells me is that we don't have city leadership that really cares. And that the ultimate goal is to shift the dynamic of the city of Chattanooga to the place where people from all over the nation can come and enjoy the opulence and the splendor here. And really what we're going to do is leave so many people behind. And it's nothing wrong with being a transplant. Welcome to the city of Chattanooga. But I think a lot of people come here, and especially if you come here with a heart to serve, not just live, but if you come here with a heart to serve people, you often find that these problems have been persistent for such a long time. And you see, again, where there's so many places where they should be able to go and get the help that they need, get the teaching that they need, the support that they need. And yet we find that these issues are not often priorities until the symptoms, because gang violence is a symptom of a larger problem. Gang violence is a symptom of poverty. Gang violence is a symptom of lack of job opportunity. Gang violence is a symptom of miseducation. It's just a symptom. And just like the failing of our medical system where we treat symptoms and not the problems, it's just like a doctor prescribing you cough medicine for a cough, but not figuring out why you're coughing. Same difference. We have to look at the bigger problems. And does the city have a hand in creating and exacerbating these problems that we have? And the firm belief is, for me, as a native, that Chattanooga has not only created these problems, but helped them persist, is a firm belief in which that I have. And when are we the people? We the people, as Family Lou Hamer would say, when are we going to be sick and tired, being sick and tired? When are we going to be sick and tired of putting our children on T-shirts and holding fish fries to try to bury them? When are we going to be tired of seeing this city throw money in every direction and leaving, if nothing else, leaving the children behind? When are we going to go to the places that we worship and stop the Sunday service and say, Pastor, I love you? But when are we going to talk about what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga? When are we going to talk about what's going on right around the corner? For some of you, when are you going to show up to your nonprofit organizations and have real discussions about poverty in a Chattanooga situation? I'm just asking because in January, I saw that our council gutted the Father to the Fatherless program because they asked for a 2-year contract for $600,000. And even if they felt like Father to the Fatherless wasn't the best organization to do the job that it needed it to do, tell me why we didn't go back to the drawing board and reach out to some other invested organizations, often small organizations, because the larger organizations are not doing this work. They're not doing this work. They're not going to do this work. They're not going to go walk in the West Side and the South Side and Alton Park. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're too afraid. When I watched a documentary, and I watch a lot of documentaries besides I read a lot. I watched a documentary about our juvenile injustice system and how we lock up not only more adults than any other developed country in the world, but we lock up more children than any other developed country in the world. And in California, a young African-American mayor decided that locking children up wasn't solving any of the problems. And so what they did was employed men from these very neighborhoods, employed them as city employees, and set up a system where The men were responsible for checking in with these young men every day, talking to them every day, meeting with them once a week, helping them fill out job applications, showing them how to put on a suit and a tie, how to iron. Come on. All we have to do is go back to if something doesn't work, that's okay. I'm telling you, that's okay. If something doesn't work, that's okay. But to leave the city without any initiative that I know of, or to leave the city without any program or programs, and really the work that needs to be done, this type of work can't happen with one program. I think that was probably, if I looked at a great mistake, that would be one. There can't be one organization that can do all of this work. If nothing else, we need split organization to handle the young men and split organization to handle the young women. The needs are completely different. We need organizations that will help young women if they become teenage mothers, that will help them be able to be supportive of their children, help them formulate a schedule, help them with initiatives to teach their children how to read. Come on, how to breastfeed, how to nurse their children. Young men's needs are completely different. For young men, they need a bridgeway, a pathway to manhood. Whether that is maybe taking them hunting. I'm just thinking out the box here. Taking them hunting. Whether that is teaching them martial arts and discipline. Life skills. I could say life skills just nonetheless. Why can't we have financial planning for young people? For both young men and women. That shows them how to balance a checkbook, a ledger, what credit is. Come on. I'm just asking. Maybe the first problem, if I look at it from the outside looking in, is we left this large work up to one organization. That's too overwhelming. And I'm 30, and I say that to me, that's simple. The needs are so overwhelming for children in the inner city. We can't leave this work up to one individual or one group of people. There's diverse needs, and we need to have options for the young people to be able to choose, and stages that they could go through in the process. But bigger question today is what have your city officials said about this? Because for them to gut the only program that we had going, and me to not know of any other program or programs implemented since, and for us to up the amount of money that we're going to give to a reactionary, oppressive force such as the police department. You telling me the only options we have is to live life as we're living it and then lock up the young people or wait for them to die? And I want you to think about this. Really, really think. If you're listening today, I need you to think about this. Is that what we're doing? Are we just sitting back at home waiting for more young people to die? While we have a voice, and even if you can't make it down to the city council, you know what you can do for me? Call your county commissioner. Call your city council person. Blow up the mayor's phone. Call Chief Roddy. Blow up his phone. And start asking, what are they going to do about these issues? Because for you, and I hope for you, locking people up isn't enough. Waiting for people to die, that's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for me. when I look at the reason that they supposedly ended the program in the first place was supposedly because they didn't have enough information. So you're telling me as a sitting city council member, you're waiting on somebody to tell you what to do for your district? For your district? Isn't that your job? Even if they didn't provide the information, you go get it? Shouldn't you already know what your people need? Tough questions. Shouldn't you be talking to your community so much you know what they need? And it's all it is a matter of bringing it up before the council. To me, this is not as complex as people will have you believe it is. It's quite simple. But at 30, I have a cousin who was murdered last year, and we still don't. Well, let me take that back. We know who murdered him. The police have not figured it out, and they have yet to apprehend him. We know who murdered him. Wake up, good people. There's so much going on here in the city of Chattanooga. And really, Chattanooga is just a microcosm of what's happening all across the country in so many ways. And the time is now. It's right now. There is no other time to get involved, to step up, to speak out, to use your voice, to be firm, to assert your rights, to voice your expectations. We can't let people get away with this. These are your tax dollars. These are the very people who control the destiny of the city of Chattanooga, whether we like it or not. And by God, it's time for us to fight back. I can't say it enough. Y'all stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Morris Fenton is accused in a home invasion assault. He was also investigated in a homicide case. It happened Thursday. 39-year-old Fenton is accused of breaking into his ex-wife's house with his cousin on Standifer Gap, wielding a gun and a baseball bat. The new husband was beaten with the bat, and the ex-wife was shot twice, but she survived. Police believe Fenton was also involved in a homicide earlier in the year. The town of Dunlap in mourning after a sudden and unexpected loss. The Dunlap Fire Department confirming in a Facebook post. Vice Mayor and City Manager Jeff Johnson suddenly died after suffering an allergic reaction to a bee sting. And he was on the TBI's top 10 most wanted list. Now he's in jail. 23-year-old O'Shea Williams was captured in Detroit, Michigan. Williams is accused in the murder of Cortez Alford on Arlington Avenue in July. Williams will remain in custody in Detroit until he can be extradited to Chattanooga. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
I'm Bo Watson, and I approve this ad. Neighbors, I'm your state senator, Bo Watson. Jobs, education, safety. These were my priorities when I first ran for office, and they continue to be my focus. We've made great progress in Tennessee the past 4 years. Let's keep it going. Believe in Tennessee. Vote Bo in November. Paid for by friends of Bo Watson, Boy W. Watson III, Treasurer, VoteForTennessee.com.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
It's that time of year again. For the 7th year, Wings Over North Georgia Air Show will be Saturday, October the 13th and Sunday, October the 14th. You'll see some of our government's finest assets flying in the world today. The rarely seen Air Combat F-22 Raptor demo team and the A-10 Warthog will both headline the show along with Tora, which is the reenactment of Pearl Harbor to include pyrotechnics. Patty Wagstaff and Michael Goulian, both world aerobatic champions, will be showing off their amazing skills, along with numerous other aviation rock stars. On the ground, you'll be able to experience military static displays and even have an opportunity to ride in a Huey or Cobra helicopter. Wings Over North Georgia is an action-packed way to spend a weekend with your family. You can even camp on the grounds. The Richard B. Russell Regional Airport is the place for all the action on October the 13th and the 14th. For tickets and camping reservations, visit wingsovernorthgeorgia.com.
Join Nuga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships, as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nuga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 12, right here on Nuga Radio.
Nuga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect mostly cloudy, warm, but mainly dry weather out there for your afternoon. Highs settling into the lower 80s tonight. Some leftover clouds feeling tropical, lows only near 70. For Wednesday, cloudy, breezy, highs 80 to 82 with a few passing showers Wednesday night through Thursday morning. Get ready for the Wings Over North Georgia Air Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Russell Regional Airport in Rome, featuring the U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptor and A-10 Warthog. For tickets, wingsovernorthgeorgia.com. And I'm Sworn Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ford.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, good people? It's your girl Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show. I thought it was so funny. A supposed listener decided to inbox me this morning and say I'm an angry millennial. Sweetheart, you don't know me. I'm not angry. I wouldn't lie and say that I'm not frustrated. I am frustrated. There are a lot of millennials who are frustrated with what's going on. Yeah, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm frustrated because I was born into a city in which I did not create the conditions. I arrived here in 1988. I'm just 30. To some people, I'm still young. I'm learning. Hopefully have a long way to go. I don't have a fraction of the answers. There are a lot of people who pretend like they do. I don't. What hopefully people appreciate about me is that I'm willing to have honest dialogue and conversation about what's going on. And that my focus is where we live and not eyes everywhere else. Voting season is upon us. And as I said to my constituents during the break, if you're not registered to vote, make sure you vote. Make sure you're registered. Ask your friends, your family members. Make sure you text everybody and make sure that they're registered to vote. But, there's always a but. But voting is only a first step in the process. And truthfully, the change that we need is beyond voting. We have to change on the inside. I got to see a Facebook post of a lady who was driving her daughter to school this morning. And I was so encouraged. Children are beautiful, intelligent beings. Her daughter asked her, why aren't people fighting back? Fighting back against everything that they see. Why aren't the adults? I'm sure that's from a child's perspective. Why aren't the adults fighting back? And the mother was trying to explain, maybe people are afraid that we are fighting back in some ways, but often when you do fight back, because some people think that because I mention people in government, city council, the mayor, that I'm fighting against people. I'm not fighting people. I'm fighting status quos. We're fighting systems that outdate all of us. The oppressive system of America outdates me. I didn't build it. And I'm desperately in my life, in my work, trying to dismantle this system and in no shape, form, or fashion that I created nor control. Tough. I imagine this particular lady is a comrade. She helped organize the Light Brigade, which the Light Brigade is a form of protest here in the city of Chattanooga. And I imagine that she probably was so proud that she has a child. Children are just very observant. And people act like children are not probably the most intelligent people on the face of the earth. They are, not only because they are innocent, but because they haven't had a reason to lie to themselves about what they see. Children are absolutely beautiful. But how is it that we have the babies? The babies are ready for change. Are we ready for change? I believe that we are. But are we ready to do what it's going to take to dismantle this system that we're talking about? To get people out of the way? Everybody on the city council as it sits right now shouldn't be able to aspire to be on the council any longer or to even dream of being Chattanooga's next mayor. We should get rid of every last one of them. Nothing personal, just business. Because if Chattanooga is a business like Mr. Councilman Ledford said that it is, for this to be the 7th worst ran business, how many people out there would have the 7th worst ran company in America and still keep your stock in it? I'll wait. You won't. Why? You want to protect your investment. Well, your tax dollars are an investment. They're an investment to, it should be, if we were doing government business the right way, your tax dollars should be an investment for you to be able to see what you want in your community. And that's being real. It shouldn't be about backdoor deals, favoritism to developers. It should be about the people who are paying taxes, that they get to see what they want in their neighborhoods. Because it's your investment. And the thing that just perplexes me, besides just the obvious impunity and indifference of our leadership as it is right now, which to me is despicable, because only in government could you have this level of impunity and indifference and it still work. Companies go out of business because of attitudes and adjustments like this. They do. Companies fail because of people who operate and work like this. How is it that we are perfectly okay with allowing people who legitimately, right now, Velocity 2040, they're planning the next 20 years in the city of Chattanooga. Look it up. Velocity 2040. They are planning the next 20 years for the city of Chattanooga. And how many of us out there were invited to that meeting, heard about that meeting, knew what that is, have submitted your ideas to the city of Chattanooga of what you want to see in the next 20 years? Are we ready for change? Voting is a first step. But as I told the city council last week, preaching to me that voting is the only thing that I can do. No. Fannie Lou Hamer is like one of the most influential Southern Black women to me. Besides trying to desperately working hard after she left a plantation and organizing the South for the Democratic Party, she decided that she wanted to run for Congress and raised the $500 in an afternoon, in several hours, had gathered $500 of what it would require her to run for Congress from sharecroppers. Are we that dedicated to where I'm just asking, we have to consider what we're next steps, that we're so tired of these failing school systems. Maybe it's time for a gang of parents to get together and legitimately start developing homeschooling coursework and start homeschooling children. 800-8949 if you want to call and chop it up with me. I'm being real because I see so much of what we're doing is not working. We're begging people to help us. That ain't really working either. And so until we can replace them, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Miss Monique Weeks, I still need you to come on my show, ma'am. I still need you on my show. And I know you're doing that. But for the other people who maybe you've been teeter-tottering, you're frustrated with the schools, and maybe you've thought about homeschooling. Make it happen. Make it happen. Start pulling your kids from these schools. Your children are worth money to the school system. Your children are dollars. They're not investments. Your children are dollars. Your dollars, especially if they go to a failing school, they're worth even more money. Trust me. If they go to a failing school, they're worth even more money. Your children are dollar signs. Pull them out of school. Pull them out of school. And let's set up a parenting network, an underground network of parents. That we start homeschooling our children. Setting up our own field trips. And it's not just to the Creative Discovery Museum, but maybe it's to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. Maybe it's to a plantation so they could actually see where people pick cotton and how they live. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe so we can offer them our own curriculum, such as entrepreneurship, economic development, reverse engineering, horticulture and agriculture, basic survival and hunting skills. Come on. That's what I'm saying. Are we really? I know we won't change, but are we really ready for it? Are we ready to go to some extreme depths to try to save our community? That shucks. I got to walk through the West Side, which is a housing project, and I'm a rebel. I'm telling you, I've always gotten in trouble because I just strike out and do my own thing. Done that for a long time. I looked at all of these empty spaces, like just like grass areas in between the bricks. And I said, dang, what if people just, just started an impromptu garden? Oh, good morning. Talk to me.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Not bad. Hey, something too that we're talking about there. And
hey, I'm sorry, your phone is breaking up so bad.
Oh, well, let me call back.
Okay. So sorry, love. Please give me a call back and try that again. But all of this green space, and I'm like, man, what if they just started growing impromptu collard greens? Impromptu turnip greens, just something, basic stuff. Good morning. Talk to me.
Okay, let's try this again.
All right, that's better, much better. Talk to me.
That is better.
Hey, as you've talked about and as Scott's talked about too on his show there on the weekends, trades, we definitely got to get our young people back into that. There's such a shortage now, and our vocational schools aren't, getting as many people as they should. So, we've got to teach those trades again. So, you're talking about the homeschooling there. You're exactly right. We've got to get our young people to help as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Absolutely. There are plenty of, I know I have some listeners out there. You know what? Instead of waiting until these children are 18 years old, or then they get into, they've graduated college, now they're strapped with student loan debt, or they go to college and then they discover, which we should have figured out, because if you pay attention to your children, you'll see what they're interested in. And you can understand with children, the longer you work with them, the possibilities of the things that they're good at. And instead of trying to force children to go one way, everybody need to go to college. No, they don't. There are some children out there who are absolutely brilliant with their hands. They are. And it's nothing wrong if you want to have a trade. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing that makes you less of a person if you have a trade. Nothing wrong with that. Why can't we have some of these retired folks who've maybe worked with TVA, maybe have worked with Lincoln Electric, these retired folks getting out there and maybe seeing what kids are interested in electrical. Maybe seeing what kids, if kids like gardening. Part of it is some of these kids don't know what they like or what they're interested in because they don't have any diversity. All they do is go to school, hear a bell, sit in a class, and a lot of them are bored. I know school for me was boring. School for me was completely boring. A lot of what we talked about, I had already read in books because I'm a reader, and it was boring. I'm not just a visual learner. I learn by implementing what I hear and what I see. So part of my learning experience, and I think a lot of children are there, is by implementation. And you can't really do a lot of that in 45 minutes to an hour. You can't do that. It's difficult, or it's completely boring. Children need diversity. They need to be able to go into a room and see, like the Montessori school actually does this. It's an approach that they have. They need to be able to walk into an open space, see children of all different ages, right? And they choose what they want to learn. Why not? Why not? They choose what interests them. And then once they've mastered that, they can choose something else. There's a whole school that is based on this process, the Montessori school. Children can learn at their own pace. And all you're there to do is to teach them and to be patient with them and love them. Oh, come on. I'm just asking questions. If they're not going to put a grocery store in our neighborhood, then shucks, all these open spaces, we need to start some guerrilla gardens and video record every time they try to tear it down. Video record it. I guarantee. Come on. And to start taking those videos to the city council and the mayor and putting them on World Star Hip Hop. City comes in and destroys Guerrilla Garden for a neighborhood that has no grocery store. After we shame them, I'm telling you, besides just thinking outside the box, man, we got to go underground. And that's something that my people are very, very good at. Improvisation. We need to do some improv work. Improv. Like jazz. You know, some people do jazz. So I'm a musician. Like improv is the best part of jazz because it's on the fly. That's how we got to think about how we're going to turn around our situations. So one of the things that I've been looking at from afar in Detroit is Mr. Jason Wilson, The Cave of Adullam. And I just picked up his book, Cry Like a Man, which I'm excited about reading it. He got tired of seeing young men getting in trouble in school, getting suspended, started teaching them martial arts and discipline with biblical context. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to me.
Good morning, Maria. It's time for me to make it real and call out the black community. Are you ready for this? Why does the black community continue to vote Democrat when they know that if you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, you're considered crazy? Democrats can rely on the black vote 95%. And the Jewish vote, which is beyond me because Democrats don't like blacks and they don't like Jews. Matter of fact, their party, it's in their platform, it's okay to kill unborn babies. The majority of them are little black babies, girls. So why would the black community continue to basically just keep digging themselves deeper in that hole? Listen, Democrats are the KKK. Democrats aren't Lincoln. Democrats started World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Do you want me to continue?
No.
They did not want equal rights for equal pay. They did not. Listen, Wallace was a Democrat, tried to keep blacks out of universities. But why do blacks continue to vote for Democrats? It drives me crazy. Please answer that. Look in Detroit. Look in Chicago. Run by Democrats.
So
blacks are killing blacks. Stop.
I will answer that question. And it's probably not going to be the one that you want, but that's okay. It's probably the same reason why poor white people vote Republican. If I'm honest in my assessment of politics, I don't believe in either party. Malcolm X called it what it was, running from the fox to the wolf, or from the wolf to the fox. We have found no comfort in either one. I mean, more did happen under the abolitionist Republican party, but, and let me get through my statements. Let me get through it. Let me work through it. It's the same thing. I mean, poor people are tricked either way it goes. Poor white people vote Republican. Poor black people vote Democrat. I don't see a difference in party. And I'm being real. I don't really see a difference in party, except about how they go about doing the work that they do. Some, for the Democrat, it's just out front. They're just out front with it. For the Republican, they're more behind the scenes, but they both accomplish the same thing, which is I haven't seen my neighborhood change under Democratic or Republican leadership, if I'm just being super real. Maybe it's time for the people to redefine politics. Oh, man. Oh, the show goes by so fast, always, but y'all know what it is. Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. If no one has taken the time today to tell you that they love you, I love you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart and the depths of my soul. I love you. And it's absolutely nothing you can do about that. Y'all go out here and have a great day here in the city of Chattanooga. See you guys tomorrow.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Morris Fenton is accused in a home invasion assault. He was also investigated in a homicide case. It happened Thursday. 39-year-old Fenton is accused of breaking into his ex-wife's house with his cousin on Stand-Up-For Gap, wielding a gun and a baseball bat. The new husband was beaten with the bat, and the ex-wife was shot twice, but she survived. Police believe Fenton was also involved in a homicide earlier in the year. The town of Dunlap in mourning after a sudden and unexpected loss. The Dunlap Fire Department confirming in a Facebook post. Vice Mayor and City Manager Jeff Johnson suddenly died after